James, thanks for being with us tonight. Let's talk about what Vivek had to say. I know Vivek. I like Vivek. I think Vivek is brilliant. And I take his point of what he's saying here when it comes to a very specific, perhaps, as he and Elon tweeted, 0.01% of engineers that are needed to be brought from across the world. But I fear that his indictment was too broad, too sweeping about the culture of America.
Well, Will, good evening and Merry Christmas. Look, Vivek does not mince words. What you'll notice about that tweet that I encourage everybody to read, it's been the tweet that's been heard around the world, is he doesn't mention American culture once. What he's talking about, I think, is the anti-American, anti-meritocratic subculture that has been exploded in recent years, especially under the Biden-Harris regime. The subculture, Will, that cancels the science fair in favor of drag queen story hour. The subculture where college campuses are spending more time talking about microaggressions than microbiology. The culture that tells a young girl that Cardi B is a role model and that Thomas Jefferson is a racist. That is not the American culture. We have deviated from that. But President Trump's historic victory a month ago means that the golden era is upon us. And Vivek, I believe, knows that to be true.
And he's championed those ideas. He's championed them with me. He's championed them on this particular show. He's been a leader in pushing back on the things that have rotted our culture. But he does mention the culture more largely, James. He does talk about us venerating the prom king or the football player over the science fair competition. And what I would say, and I don't think Vivek disagrees with me. I really don't. I think he believes in American exceptionalism. But I fear that in this particular sentiment, he has suggested that that mediocrity has bled to an overall malaise in America. And he said it's happened basically since the 90s. Now, I have to believe that some of that is true, but we are still today, not just in our past, we are still exceptional in America.
There is no question about it. Even despite what's been a couple difficult years under this Biden-Harris regime, this is the best country on earth. We are blessed by the grace of God. I know that Vivek knows that. I know that. Americans watching at home, and I know that you know that, Will. The bigger thing I think we have to ask ourselves is, for as much as American athletes get credit for things, we need to also venerate and exemplify the great mathematicians of this country. When a kid wins a math or science competition, let's put him on a billboard too, right alongside the winning quarterback. And so we have to prioritize merit and excellence, and we have to reject this anti-meritocratic subculture that's trying to divide us.
Well, James,
President Trump will unite this country. There's no question about it.
Do we have those individuals here today? So I want to get to the nuts and bolts, the brass tacks of this debate. A lot of it has to do with H-1B visas. And do we recruit talent from across the world, be it Asia, be it China, be it India? Do we recruit talent from across the world? And by the way, Vivek is on the record. He has opposed the way the H-1B visa system works. But do we continue to need to pull engineers from across the world, or do we not have that brain power here today that can be developed, whether or not we're talking about Silicon Valley or wherever it's needed here in America?
We absolutely have that brain power here. There is no question about it. Now, here's the thing, Will, and the great thing about this H-1B debate, the silver lining, I believe that the H-1B process, like Vivek has said, is badly broken. It's a scam. It needs to be gutted. But if you go online right now and look at all of the H-1B positions, here's an amazing fact. For every one H-1B position for a, quote, AI engineer, there are 13, Will, for H-1B accountants. We have 50,000 accounting majors graduating in this country every single year, from HBCUs to Harvard to community colleges to state colleges. We need to give them a fair and even shot. I spoke with a recruiter this afternoon who said that at his company, they had a policy: do not hire American citizens, put H-1Bs first. That is not meritocracy. When you restore meritocracy in America, as President Trump will do, Americans always rise to the challenge.
So to be clear, if I'm listening to you correctly, James, you do not think, and I don't know where Vivek stands on this part, but American engineers, American students, Vivek talks about needing, and it's not a college issue, it's a cultural issue at a younger age. You think, I'm asking you here, that Americans are not getting a fair shake on getting some of these top jobs because we're recruiting from places like India or China?
That's right. They're not getting a fair shake. The recruiters have said so. We have plenty of accountants in this country, plenty of engineers. Now, when it comes to the top 0.1% of elite talent, welcome aboard. But the H-1B system as it stands is anti-meritocratic.
All right. I say welcome aboard as long as you believe in and buy into the exceptionalism of American culture. I do believe that you believe that, and Vivek as well. And I welcome Vivek. I know he will accept it as soon as there is the beginning of the golden age, as you point out. I know he'll accept the opportunity to have a longer conversation, which it is very much well deserved. But thank you for beginning it with us tonight, James.
Because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that